Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. I'm super excited about this. This is going to be an amazing week where we are going to talk about boundaries with self, the promises you keep. All right. I'm Erin Lay. I've been a global leading life coach and business strategist for over 30 years. Absolutely love helping people go from feeling stuck and overwhelmed and self doubt and feeling distracted to becoming focused and fearless and excited about your life and just up leveling when you're going into that next chapter, just being fully empowered and just going next level. So this week we are going to speak about boundaries you have with yourself and how important it is to keep the promises that you make to yourself and why. All right. So the first talking point, let's get right into this is well, actually, let me just say most people think boundaries are just about saying no to others, right? You think if you just say no to others, then you have boundaries, but that's not 100%. The most powerful boundaries are those that you set with yourself. Okay. So it's not just about telling the kids what to do and about telling others what to do and what they can and cannot do regarding you. That's really, really important with regards to your boundaries and what people are allowed to tell you. But really, the boundaries that you have with yourself. Most people don't have that conversation with themselves. Most people don't have conversations with themselves about anything these days, and I just want to help people really just stop being so 3D oriented and start looking within because all the answers that you need are within you. They're within you. All right. So the first talking point is self boundaries build self respect. Super, super important. So keeping promises with yourself builds confidence. Breaking your own word chips away at trust. And respect starts internally before others mirror it back. Right. So just think about it. You're either interested or committed to doing something. So when it comes to when you say to yourself, I'm going to get this done, and you don't do it, it doesn't feel good. And the reason why you didn't do it is because you were just interested in doing it in the moment. You weren't fully committed, burn the boats all in with regard to setting that boundary of, I said I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it. Right. And then when you don't do it again, it chips away at your self trust. And we talked about how important trust is in the emails, in the videos in the past regarding trusting yourself, trusting the process, trusting the higher power. Right. I say God. Trust is huge, but start with trusting yourself because a lot more gets done. And the second talking point is why self discipline equals self love. Discipline isn't punishment, it's choosing long term alignment over short term comfort. Isn't that cool? And it really is pleasure versus joy. I just had this conversation with one of my clients, pleasure versus joy. And what a difference. Like if you're doing something for the short term pleasure, you get that hit, it feels good, the hormones going off in the brain, it feels good in the moment. And then when things settle down, you start to say, was that really in my best interest? Was that really in the best interest of everybody concerned, in the highest good of all concerned? And sometimes it's yes, and sometimes it's no. But pleasure, it's fleeting, right? It comes and goes. But joy is a manner of how you travel through life. It's an attitude, it's a way of being, and it's not just hit or miss. Joy is like gratitude. It's just a way of being. When you're living in gratitude, when you're living in joy, you're living in harmony with spiritual universal law. You're living in harmony with who you truly are. And when it comes to creating boundaries with yourself, that is so important, right? And that feeling of joy, that feeling of gratitude, that should be a non negotiable. In life, create things that will help you stay in that vibration of gratitude and joy. That should be a boundary that is a non negotiable. Okay. Starting like right now. Boundaries with habits. Show self care. Boundaries with habits show self care. And that could be regarding health, finances, relationships, right? So when you have boundaries with habits and you're developing the beliefs that you deserve to have these boundaries and that you are strong enough to create the boundaries and you actually do it, that's self care. And then it leads to loving yourself means not abandoning yourself. Think about that. Right? How often do we conform to meet the needs of others? How often are you conforming to meet the needs of your kids, your parents, your boss, anybody, because you're a people pleaser and you have a great heart and you have a great soul. But when you're self sacrificing to meet the needs of others and you're throwing your self boundaries, the boundaries you have with yourself out the window, you're not doing yourself any favors. And in the long run, you're not doing them any favors because we're going to get into this. How are they going to trust you? If you're so willing to throw yourself out the window with regard to self care and self respect, then how are they going to trust you? How are they going to feel about you? Which leads us to the third talking point, how to set and keep boundaries with yourself. Start small, pick one commitment and keep it daily. Pick anything that you want to get done, anything that you'd like to accomplish, time block it. Okay. Time management, we've talked about that also, is a $1 trillion industry. We all have 24 hours, right? But we only have a finite amount of energy. And when you time block, then you're utilizing time and the energy in the most efficient way possible. So pick one commitment and keep it daily. Again, time block that commitment in your phone or time block it however you do it. If you have the old school with the books and stuff like that, time block it there, time block it wherever you can, time block it in both, put it on a post-it board, put it on sticky notes in the mirror, but make it a priority that you are going to do this. Okay. Pick one commitment and keep it daily. Then track your wins. Every success reinforces your identity. So when you track your wins and you start to feel good, I actually stuck to that yesterday all day. I didn't just do it for a little bit and then I caved again because somebody asked me to do them a favor, even though I didn't have time for it. But I did it anyway because you feel that made you a really good person. But then you didn't have time left to spend with your kids at the end of the day, or something that you needed to do that would make you feel good at the end of the day because you exerted that energy throughout the day for other people, thinking it was just going to be 2 seconds or 2 minutes, because you want to be a good person. And a good person absolutely is in service of others without a doubt. And that brings joy, but not at the expense of yourself, not at the expense of your self respect, of the boundaries that you have with yourself and for yourself. Okay. So from now on, you go and think, okay, is this in my highest good regarding what we're talking about here at boundaries? And so that by the end of the day, you put your head on the pillow and you say, I lived a day where I could actually feel joy. And then you carry that joy to the next day. And then you do it again. And then you carry that momentum. Before you know it, you're vibing in joy, right? Because it becomes your new norm as opposed to self sacrifice. And then when you slip, acknowledge it and reset. Don't spiral into shame, right? So you don't want to ruminate. You don't want to ruminate on, I can't believe I did that. Or I did it again. I failed. I didn't do it the whole day, so I failed. That is never going to serve you. Shame and guilt are at the very bottom of the vibrational chart. Love, joy, and inner peace and enlightenment is at the top. But we have to do the personal development work day after day after day as we're building habits, right? And that's how habits are built day after day after day, repetition. Ruminate on what's right with your life. Ruminate on what you did right during the day. If you did something that threw you off kilter, that, did a self-sacrifice thing or whatever, don't beat yourself up. Just learn the lesson. That's what life is about. We talked about it. Win or learn, right? So this is an opportunity for you to stop and just learn the lesson, become aware. Oh, I just did it again, but I'm breaking down the old pattern, the old habits of the self-sacrifice because you had the belief that makes you a good boy, a good girl, a good young man, a good young woman, a good person, whatever it is. It was just a belief that you took on. You created the habits around that belief and then you lived it out for a lifetime and you made excuses for them when it would pop up. Not anymore. Not anymore. You're breaking down those habits and now you're creating new habits that will serve you and you're stretching your self image so that more of this great stuff will come to you and the people, place, and things that will help you reinforce this day after day will show up as well. And before you know it, again, this is your new norm. Okay. The discipline of daily health practices, it rebuilds who you are, right? So like for me, this new thing in my life is I'm doing a detox. All the heavy metals, all the toxins, I'm working with a holistic doctor and I'm doing this really intensive detox. And it's good. It's challenging. I know in a few months it's going to be well worth it. It's well worth it now as I'm going through the process. But I have to really stick to it. I have to stick to the schedule. I can't just go up willy-nilly and just, do whatever it is that I want. I have to have the self boundaries, the self discipline to be able to do what I need to do to be able to get out on the other side of this and get rid of the heavy metals and the toxins and, all that stuff to be healthier and happier on the other side of it. So, what is it that you're looking to achieve, over the next few months? What is it that you would like to create boundaries and habits around and discipline? Like you're committed to it. You're not just interested, you're committed to getting it done. What is it that you're working on right now? I would love to know. Email me or put it in the comments below. Tell me what it is that you would like to work on. Just one commitment this week that you would like to work on and build the momentum so that you create the boundaries with yourself and you're able to go and make it happen in a way that makes you feel super, super good about who you are, what you're doing, your way of living in this world, living in harmony with spiritual universal law, creating the vibration of joy as your new norm, right? As opposed to just, like I said, self sacrificing and suffering and all that kind of stuff. That does not have to be your norm. I don't want it to be your norm. And that's why I'm here with you today, because I do not want that for you. I don't want you in the self doubt and the self limiting beliefs and, the not good enough and that life sucks. So many people are saying that, and it breaks my heart. Like, life sucks. Life is amazing. Life is so good when you let it be. When you let it be, right? And it starts with creating boundaries with yourself. And then other people will see that you have the self-respect. And then that's how you start to command respect from other people as well, because they will feel it if you do not have respect for yourself. They'll feel it if you don't have boundaries with yourself. And there are people in this world, unfortunately, that will take advantage of that. And I don't want that for you. Okay. So starting today, we're going to work on all of this. And I'm excited. And I want you to send me how you're getting started and your progress. I love this. And if you'd like to schedule a call with me, reach out at Schedule Erin. Go to www.scheduleerin.com. Scheduleerin.com. We'll set up a discovery call. You'll tell me all the things that you'd like to work on, what you feel that you want to work on, what you need to work on, and the goals that you have and what you feel is holding you back. And I can help you with a plan by the end of the call on how to get started and how to build that momentum so that you actually reach that North Star, that vision that you have for your life. All right. And we also have the Life on Track course. If you just want to do a deep dive and you're ready to go in now, you can do that as well. And that's at the website, thelifeontrackcourse.com. All right. So have a wonderful day. Have a magnificent day. And always remember to live onward and upward.